Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining me. The show will start in about 20 seconds. We have some great stuff going on in the markets, and we are going to be focusing this show on the British pound today. Right, so why don't I just start sharing my screen, okay? Right. So before we go any further, can everybody hear me? I think everybody can hear me. If you have any questions, just type it on the chat. I have the chat on my other screen. So, so I can um, see your questions, and I will be more than happy to answer anything that you um, have to ask, right? So the British pound, right? It has been quite a volatile time for the British pound. And well, the reason that I want to talk about the British pound is because we are, there has not been any deal between the EU and the UK, right? And if you remember this big drop on the pound, this is versus the US dollar, right? Was because of that. And today we've had a lot of talk on the UK side and also on the EU side, and apparently they have not yet um, agreed to anything. And it's pretty possible that we're not going to have a deal this year, right? So the British pound is really under pressure at the moment. And I do believe that we have some opportunities to profit from a bearish move on the pound versus all majors, actually. And actually, I'm going to just delete all my drawings here. And we're going to go to the 15-minute chart. The reason we're going to go to the 15-minute chart is because I want to talk about the immediate levels that we are currently trading on, right? As you can see right now, we broke with this low, and the British pound versus the US dollar is appreciating, right? We are seeing a bullish move on the pound versus the USD, right? So why don't we do some analysis on this chart? Let's see some levels that we can actually trade from, and perhaps we can actually get on a trade um, if we find the opportunity, right? So so the first level that I was looking at, of course, was this were these highs right here around the 133.60. Okay, I saw a lot of rejection, a lot of sellers jumping in at this level. And if we go to the lower time frames, to the 15-minute chart again, um, and I don't know if you guys were actually, hi SFD, how are you? I don't know if you guys were watching price action earlier today, but there were a lot of buyers around this level right here, right? So the British pound versus the US dollar was trading inside of a range, a very tough, range to trade. And eventually it broke to the downside, right? Actually, buyers were jumping in at this level, right? And well, right now we broke with the lows, with these lows, and I'm going to put the horizontal line on the previous lows, right? The idea here is to sell a retest of these lows for a bearish move, right? Right now, I mean, in my opinion, there is no setup, right? I don't like to look for setups on the lower time frames, on the 15 or the 5 minute chart. But um, I'm going to look at the 5 minute chart because I want to show you what's going on right now. So we are retesting the previous lows, right? And we have we just saw, or we just had a big rejection of the previous lows. And if price breaks with the current lows around the 133 level, we are definitely going lower. Where are the next levels that we need to be watching, right? In my opinion, full transparency, I am short the pound at the moment, right? I'm short the pound versus the US dollar. And I had my first targets around the 132.70, around these lows. But on the longer time frame, right? Or well, these are my first targets on the pound versus the US dollar. But if we actually look at what's going on, we rejected the previous highs, the previous swing high right here. Okay. And we broke with the immediate bullish structure right here. Okay. So if the pound versus the US dollar breaks with these lows, and I do believe that just by looking at price action right now, price action itself, um, just by looking at this 4 hour candle, if this price action continues, it's very possible that we're going to break with these lows. So where are we going to go with the pound versus the US dollar? And the thing about this market right now is that if we hear from the UK government, right, that or the EU, that negotiations are in place and they have agreed to a deal, what we are talking about is no longer going to be in play, right? Because the pound is going to rally. But right now, because there is no deal between the EU and the UK, and it seems that it's going to be really hard for them to agree on something, the pound is going to just drop, right? So this, in my opinion, is the play for this week, right? If you're short the pound, congratulations. And if you're not, let's talk about some levels that we might, or some levels that we can trade from, right? Right now, this move is already gone. If you're not short the pound right now, do not chase this move because, like I told you before, this is going to be very volatile and you can get burned, right? But when we get to these, I'm sorry, when we get to these lows, right? And if price breaks with these lows, this is the level that we need to look for shorts, right? And the reason that we need to look for shorts on this level, one is because it's the previous lows, right? It's a previous key level, and two, because of the risk to reward ratio that this setup could yield, right? Just by looking at the market structure, right? Just by looking at the market structure, we have this, let me just grab my brush. We have this low, then we have this key level, and then, well, we have this low, right? That we are currently trading between of, right? So when we break with this, or when and if we break with this low and retest it, right? And of course that we need a clear rejection. And in my case, I need a pattern to form, right? to have a clear risk to reward ratio, or a clear, yeah, a clear entry. So I can calculate my risk to reward ratio, and this would yield around a 1 to, what is that? A 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. The pound versus the Japanese yen is another one that I'm currently on. But the thing about the pound versus the yen is that I was looking at the yen futures, right? And the yen futures are currently under pressure too, right? Um, when yen futures are on a bearish move, that is bullish for the pound versus the yen, right? But I do believe that any pound pair right now is going to be triggered by a pound volatility or a pound volume in the market. But the thing about this is that yen futures, Japanese yen futures, are trading inside of this very choppy range, right? And immediately there's no direction. I see no direction in the yen futures, right? But just by looking at price action itself, and just by looking at um, where the swings are, and just by looking at this pattern, right? Um, I mean, I could look for longs in yen, in the yen, right? And that is counterintuitive to a short on the GBP yen. Right now, let me show you what's going on with the pound yen. And let me just delete this right here. Right, and let's go to the 2-hour chart. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. We broke with the structure and retested the structure, and right now we're dropping. Okay, the next key level is around the 137.80 or 138. I'm sorry. And if we break with this, with the 138, which is the level that I'm looking for to re-enter short, I mean, I see absolutely nothing between the 138 and the 136.25. Let's call it 136.25. That could yield a heavy support on the pound versus the yen. So again, if the bearishness on the pound continues and we break with those levels, we could actually see, I mean, we could actually enter, or we could actually find some insane risk to reward ratio scenarios or trades. Yep. If you have any questions, or if you want me to look at some markets, just type it on the chat. I'm more than happy to do it. I think we have a question, and I don't know what that is. XTIUSD. Is that a cryptocurrency? I really, really don't know. That is oil, right? That's crude oil. Well, if that's crude oil, actually, okay. Let's talk about crude oil. My preferred instrument to trade crude oil is Brent. If you follow my shows, and if you follow me, you already know that. And I actually bought Brent on this setup. I mean, you could see it. I just deleted the actual entry. I was looking at this level of Brent to go long around the 48.40, right? On the break, on the retest, the rejection of the previous highs, and the break of this flag. But I got stopped out, right? Which is fine. But I mean, in the yeah, that's oil. In in the let me just delete this. In the higher time frames, I mean, this is what I was looking at, right? We are trading inside of a very, very defined bullish structure, right? And the retest of the previous highs, and that rejection was very clear. But the thing about this is that, there's there's absolutely no reason to not go long um, if you see price at these highs, right? Because if you look at the bigger picture, there is a lot of room still to retest the long-term structure, right? The long-term bearish structure, right? But right now, in my opinion, I mean, uh, I, because I got stopped out on this retest. I mean, oil might rally, okay, but in my opinion, or what I'm looking for really is a dip to the previous highs, to this level, the 46.20 or so on Brent, or if you trade WTI, it would be, let's look at the 4-hour chart, it would be a dip to the 43.60 or so. Yeah, right now I don't see a setup. And the reason that I don't see a setup is because my setup was invalidated, right? The flag that I was trying to trade was invalidated because, well, it broke and then it made a lower low. And right now, if we look at price action on the 1-hour chart, we can still look at this as a bullish flag and a retest of the previous highs. But I'm just not really sold on a breakout and a bullish continuation, right? If price actually breaks with the immediate bullish structure and retests the 46.22, this is where I will be looking for buys. But right now, and I don't think I'm going to be trading crude oil for the rest of the year, actually. But again, what do you think about it? I mean, are you looking to go long crude oil or not? The other thing that we can actually talk about is gold. Right now, just before the show, like 5 minutes before the show, I was looking at what could be again another bullish flag in gold right here. But the thing about this, again, this is the 50-minute chart. Let's go to the 2-hour chart just so we can get some levels working. The thing about this is that targets, first targets are very close to, well, they're not very close to what could be this flag breakout entry, but just have a look at what the risk to reward ratio would be on this flag breakout. Now, to me, in order to trade a flag breakout, the previous high, this is a bullish flag, right? In order for me to trade a bullish flag, price not only has to break with the flag, but it has to break with the previous high. And in a bearish flag, it has to break with the previous low. So having said that, the risk to reward ratio to first targets is just not good enough. It's below 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? Why? Because my stop losses have to be below the previous low. So that is the reason that I'm not going to be taking this potential long in gold. But let's have a look at some levels, right? let's have a look at some levels because, and let me just delete this drawing because I actually was looking at gold shorts this week, just before yesterday's big move, right? The reason I was looking at gold shorts is because of this. Let me show you. I I was this is the structure that gold was trading in, and let's go to a 2-hour chart because I really want to show you what I was looking at. I was looking at gold retesting the top of the structure, right, and retesting these previous lows right here, and this was a massive level of support, right? And after we broke with it, this was the first time that we were retesting it as resistance. Not only that, but we were trading inside of what seemed to be a reversal pattern, okay? Right here. And I saw some bearish divergence, etc., right? But eventually price broke to the upside, etc., and my short idea got invalidated. But I mean, that's fine. And because we broke with the midterm bearish structure, and because we are trading below this massive level, and this level is not just the previous the previous support. Now you can see that it's actually been a massive level of support. So I am looking for longs. And the other reason that I'm not keen on taking that long on this flag breakout is because I actually see no key level being retested at the moment. You could actually look at this base that was formed on late in November, right? But and actually right now gold is rallying. But the thing about this is that I would need a deeper retracement in order for me to think about buying gold. Maybe after that rally, and the next level that I'm looking at in gold is this one right here. So maybe if gold actually rallies at the breakout of the flag that I just showed you and breaks with the 1876.30, this will be the next level that I will be looking for buys in gold, right? And let's talk about the US dollar too, right here. The USD right now this is the DXY. This is the US dollar currency index. And right now we are retesting again the bottom of a structure, right? And not only that, but I mean, we didn't quite got to the 90s, to the 90s, it's the 90s 37.5. And this is a massive level. I'm going to show you why. Because after, I mean, right here on, this was on January 2018. This is where sellers were positioned, right? You can actually see this is a 3-day chart, and buyers spent 84 days trying to break with this level to the upside, and eventually when they did, the DXY rallied from the breakout to the highs, uh, about 14% through 698 days, right? So this is a big level on the DXY. So, but this is just a technical level. And right now we are retesting it as I showed you earlier, right? But we didn't quite got there. But it's, I mean, you have to remember that levels are not straight lines; they're actually zones. And and yesterday, I want to talk about yesterday's price action because it was quite interesting, right? I mean, these pointed lines or these dotted lines that you see on my chart, are the previous daily highs and the previous daily lows, and the previous weekly highs and the previous weekly lows, right? These red lines that you see on my chart are the daily open. If that line is red, it's because that day closed um, negative, and if it's green, it's because that day closed positive. And yesterday's price action, right? We had a big rally, and we retested. This is actually Thursday. Thursday's open, right? And this is where um, buyers couldn't follow through with the move, right? But again, buyers were found. So I'm not, I mean, I am not bullish the US dollar, but because of how I see price action right now, and because we are making higher lows, right? If today we close positive, or even if we close above yesterday's high, I think we could get a relief rally to retest the previous broken level, which is the level that we were, or that the DXY was testing in for the past couple of months, right? So if we get that rally on the US dollar, okay, we might get some very good opportunities to short the pound against the US dollar. And that would be the play that I would be looking for. Why? Because we have the bearish pressure of a no deal Brexit, and we would have a US dollar strength, right? So because we have a US dollar strength, a US dollar strength is bearish for the GBP USD, and we have the bearish pressure on fundamentally speaking, right, on the pound. The move would be quite um, quite fast or volatile, right? And this is what I'm looking at. It. I mean, for the time being, I'm not looking at anything else. I'm really focused on the pound at the moment, and yeah, on the pound. And I saw actually an opportunity on this U.S. dollar strength, right? To pick up some U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar, but that's some. I mean, that's another scenario, and that's another technique, right? But yeah, I mean, right now I'm really focused on the pound, and I do believe that that is the play for the week. And tomorrow, I mean, tomorrow, if we get, I mean, if we get a follow through on the pound versus the yen, or the pound versus the US dollar, where is the pound versus the US dollar? Let me grab that chart, right? If we get a follow through on the pound versus the yen and the pound versus the US dollar, which seems like we are going to get, because that bearish move continues, tomorrow we might get that opportunity to short the pound versus the USD, or the pound versus the yen at the retest of these levels. So if you are keen, or if everything that I just talked about makes sense to you, just tune in tomorrow, and hopefully we will get that opportunity. If not, I mean, I am not advising you to buy or sell any financial product, but heads up to that, because this market is really bearish at the moment. Okay. This half an hour goes extremely quickly. Thank you for joining me, everybody. And yeah, I mean, tune in tomorrow. Hopefully we will get that opportunity to short the pound, and I mean, hopefully we can take a trade together. Okay. So, and I think tomorrow we will have Lloyd with us, and that'll be fun. So thank you. Cheers.